Okay, what led me to trucking? All right, what led me to trucking was my life, what I was on before I even started looking for a job. Tried to get jobs, obviously. My background and how I growed up, I wasn't a high candidate for it. When I was walking in places and filling out applications, I rarely even got to the interview. But I still had ball, so I was playing ball. Came home from school one year, got locked up over the summertime and couldn't go back. Sitting there for a few months. But anyway, I went and worked on the farm. I had my first child on the way. Quick money, needed it bad. Worked there for about 2 years, left there, went to Bluebird billing buses. I know a lot of folk don't want to hear that. Don't blame me for no building no prison buses and school buses. Let's focus on I built school buses. But yeah, before I got out there, everybody was telling me how great of a job it was. But I got out there and seen more people broke down and hurt versus building buses. So, that's my opinion. It's still a great job. That's just my perspective on it. It was part of my stepping stone. It was a part of my journey. So I'd never knock it. To tell the truth, if I didn't have trucking, I'd probably go back. So, that's just me being honest about it. It beat you up too, but me in that point in life, I needed it, and it served its purpose. It was very well. I got tired of that, and at that moment, I said, I'm going to drive trucks. I watched my brother do it, and it made me want to go do it. So, went and drove trucks. I went over the road at first. I did team driving, starting out. Team driving wasn't bad. It's alright if you got somebody good with you. I'm not saying I had a good person with me, but I was able to control what was going on. So it was a great experience for me. We made decent money. It wasn't the best. Training didn't pay too much. Training wasn't the highest. Training was probably $50 more than what I was making at my previous job. But when I started driving, and I was like, hey, they paying me money like this just to drive. I like it. So I started driving. Did my however many hundreds of hours you got to do as a trainee. After that, I did team driving with a guy that I had went to CDL school with. To speak on CDL school, back then they was allowing you to go to 3-week schools. I went to school in Jacksonville, but we came back across to take the Texas. So I don't know if that'll get anybody in trouble. That's not what this about. I'm just telling you my history and what I went through. So I went to school for 3 weeks. I learned in the manual, not automatic. I'm glad I did that too, because I don't want no restrictions on my license. Honestly, them the only trucks I'm looking for. But so I got my license, went to a company, my first company. Like I said, I did my training there. I did team driving. Then when my teammate quit, I stayed there and kept working. Luckily, they had a hub in Macon where I was from, so it made my situation even better. So I did that, making pretty much the bare minimum. Most OTR jobs ain't gonna pay you as much as finding a smaller company, a local company and stuff like that, unless you train in the owner. If you just die for experience and learning, experience learning working, after you learn those things, it's best to go find you another job if the company not paying that well. And you won't know that unless you get out here and find out. That's a whole nother thing about this, why I'm choosing to go on out, because I understand that about the trucking world. And you can't just go by what's online, say, because a lot of these companies lie. The company I went to claimed they were going to pay you tuition back, and they didn't. I ended up paying more. The school I went to had a bad loan. So I ended up paying way more. I almost doubled what I was told I was gonna have to pay. And my initial pay for having a hotel and stuff for like $7,000, $7,500. So I end up doubling that with the company supposed to be paying back my own loan every month. So that's another thing to watch out about. They got all kind of games. But anyway, I had a friend that was telling me, hey, come to this company, local to us, and come work over here. I decided to do it, to give it a shot, because he was telling me the money he was making. Well, my experience, that was the worst. To unload at that company, it was breaking me down. To drive and unload to all these restaurants, it was rough. I ain't had no help. It was just straight me driving to another state and unloading about 5 different restaurants. And then they didn't have hotel cars. They wanted you to sleep in the back. It was swap seat, meaning multiple drivers get in this truck when one get out. One driver get out, another driver get in. So they wanted you to sleep on the bed that another guy that had been sweating all day was sleeping on. Couldn't do it. So luckily, I wasn't gonna quit. I don't believe in quitting too tough. So luckily they had done cut back. Their contracts were getting messed up, so they had to cut back, and I got to leave with a severance package. That was the greatest thing. It like God answered my prayers. Then I found my third company, which is the company that I'm walking away from now. I stayed there 8 years, so that probably explained my all 10, 11 years, however many it been since I've been driving. That's what I done in a nutshell. But anyway, going to that next company, it was the greatest thing ever. Starting out fresh, to see how the company was. It was a private company, but it's a big private company. I'm not going to drop no names, but it was a great experience to start from. I won't say nothing because at that point I was able to save a little bit, but it was rapid when I got there. It was work everywhere. They didn't complain about nothing. They was trying to get work out so much that, the forcing you out at that moment was great for me. I was happy to take that work because the guys at the top will get all the good runs, but when they call off, it fall to the bottom, and I take advantage of it. But anyway, that's why I like trucking. That's what this video about to explain to you. Like, it's great. You really driving around. Some people unload. That's the thing. You got to pick and choose how you want to unload. It's some companies I wouldn't want to unload with because it's too demanding. It's some companies like the one I'm talking about that unload feels more like a workout. It was sweet. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was the greatest thing. I'm glad that's part of my history and the pillar that I chose because I needed that, and it changed my life dramatically in less than 8 years. By year 4, I was already doing a lot of stuff I got going on now. I can't even remember. I think I probably started buying my big purchases at year 3, maybe. I tried to go bigger, but I didn't understand the difference between the 401ks, the difference between the Roth and traditional, but we'll get on that later. But anyway, that's why I love trucking, to be free. I like to be free. I don't want nobody over my shoulder every day. I don't want nobody coming looking over a cubicle or walking to my session questioning me because I don't look like I'm working hard. Little stuff like that what drove me crazy with the trucking, and I like it. It's a part of my DNA now. Even though with all the pressures and the risks you take, I still choose this over any warehouse job, unless it's a sweet warehouse job. But not to knock anybody at the warehouse, I'm speaking from my experience. I like the freedom. I like being on the road, seeing the world, seeing the country. I got to see all that stuff and get paid. My over-the-road experience was great, going past historical marks and remembering what I learned in history and actually being in those locations to see what it was like. I'm going to tell you now, the middle of the U.S. wide open. Ain't nothing in the middle of it for real. I'm sure the government got stuff out there, but for the most part, it ain't no city-type structures in the middle. It's just wide open. So if you drive, and make sure you get some gas and water before you cross certain points, and some food. Because when you get out there, it might be 2-3 hours before you see something else. But anyway, back to what we talking about. Yeah, I love trucking. I like the freedom. That's what it's all about, the freedom. What else I want to talk about? Let me look at my note. What would I do in trucking now? Right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the port now as an owner-operator. Luckily, I'm stationed in middle Georgia where I was born and raised, and Savannah down the street. So I'm going to go to the port and start out there, get up under somebody's authority and insurance so I can learn the game. Use that benefit, just the next step up to me. I didn't do nothing but drive van for the most part to unload. I never flatbed. I did reefer though before, but to me they all the same. The difference between dry van, reefer, and flatbed, if you just on some basic lower level, it's not that big of a jump. But if you go to the extent like I did with the dry van company, I'm sure it's companies out there with flatbed, they can jump you like that, just like I'm sure it's companies with reefer that'll jump you far like that. But I stayed mostly dry van, which is the regular trailers y'all see on the road every day. But now I'm about to go to the port dealing with the economy straight on. You know, I'm gonna be pulling from ships from cross seas, foreign and domestic trade. I'm sure everybody learned about that in school. That's not a knock if you didn't, my apologies. But yeah, I want to tie with the economy. I'm gonna know what's going on, but it's gonna be better insight. I know what to do with that information outside of trucking. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Start that, try to build me up some stuff, and then I'm gonna just keep going. Like I said, this ain't the thing about me just having a truck, talking about I got my own truck, I'm my own boss. That's stupid. I ain't gonna say that's stupid. That's not for me. I'm doing it for a purpose. I got a real purpose. So, you know, yeah, that's it for this video, Jay. Like and subscribe. Like I said, they gonna let me know if I'm gonna keep going or not. But yeah, catch you on the next video.